Tsunami Studios.
Hello everyone and welcome to the newest rendition of Geekwave. This is the low budget show where we do a big show. That is the kind of program this is. If you wanted to expect something on the scale of some of those larger producing series on YouTube, don't come to this one because we are a low budget. And by low budget, I mean this is what you're going to get. You're going to get a couple sets of lights, you're going to get a couple backgrounds, but there's not going to be anything extravagant. Because I'm lazy as fuck, and setting up all that work, it doesn't really matter to me. So, what is Geekwave? Well, you've seen me do a live stream the other week, and this is just what the show's going to be. I'm going to talk about some stuff in the news. I am going to talk about a topic, and then we are going to have a couple recommendations at the end for you guys to check out this week. And yeah, it's low budget. We are low budget, and that is how we are going to run things from now on, because I like a low style feel. When it's all high, hoity-toity, there's a sense of professionalism. But if you just do it like this until a real studio comes in for me, I think there's a sense of just familiarity with a lot of you creators or just people out there that like something that's just for them and it's just simple and easy. It's weird to say, but that's just how we're going to do things. And, you know, it's kind of hard to talk about what's going to be popular during the week when a lot of people are just like, oh, we're going to push back our release, we're going to cancel this event, we're going to not do this. But I picked a couple topics. They're not really comic book related as the news, but I think they're kind of interesting, so we'll talk about them. First off, yeah, San Diego Comic-Con was canceled. I think we all expected this coming. It's not a big shock. It would have been a big shock if they said it was going on and then everyone still bought their tickets and went. That would have been a bigger shock to me. This, easy, makes sense. They could do an online thing if they're going to do any big reveals there. I'm not too surprised with that. So it makes sense. Like, if anybody out there was thinking this event was going to be going on, it's early July, I think, is what they were aiming for doing it this year. And it's completely canceled. It's not being rescheduled. And it makes sense. Like, this one, I think we all saw it coming. It sucks, but what are you going to do when you have no new product to reveal anyways? So, it sucks, but I understand it. And I'm not gonna be upset about it. And in other news, we have a couple more trailers that dropped, and they're all kind of interesting. First off, did you guys know that there is a reboot of Perry Mason coming to HBO this year? I didn't know this was happening. I never even heard about this before. I have a vague familiarity with the character of Perry Mason. He's been spoofed a lot in other mediums, and something about the character and that story, it's interesting, and I might go back and check it out because of this. Matthew Rhys, who is a guy I've been talking about forever on this channel, has come out and said that he is Perry Mason. Then we saw the trailer, and he's like, okay, he is. That's cool. It looks pretty good. I mean, it's your classic HBO story. Here is a period piece following an interesting lead who's going to have a dilemma he's going to overcome. Again, I'm not a big expert on the Perry Mason stuff, but I can obviously see there is some 1930s detective scandal, crime noir stuff going on there, and that's the kind of things I love. That's what I love to write about. It's what I love to talk about. You get great character moments in those kind of storytelling beats, so it works for me on so many levels. Perry Mason, like, this is an old property that I don't think anybody was expecting to come back. And did anybody really ask for this? We might not have asked for it, but it seems interesting enough where I'm like, okay, let's do it. Let's have fun with this, and we could do something really interesting here. So I have no complaints whatsoever with a Perry Mason coming out. Trailer looks really good. Matthew Rhys looks great in the lead, looking like he should be Mr. Fantastic. Just saying. That could kind of lead us into this next topic here. I was going to go to all the trailers, but we'll go into this. John Krasinski met with Marvel. You guys know I have done a whole video talking about what I'd like to see John Krasinski play in the MCU, and it's not Reed Richards. I stand by my statement that I do not want Emily Blunt or John Krasinski as Sue and Reed. I want Matthew Rhys and Kerry Russell as Reed and Sue. I think they are a better fit for that kind of a role, more maturity there, and it's not a slanderous thing against those other two people as actors or creators or humans. Like, I think they're better suited for other roles. I just think that, and You can agree or disagree with me, but that's where I'm standing on that. So, yeah, John Krasinski's in the MCU. That's great. Perry Mason, that is great too. Which leads us into another topic that I don't know a lot about, but you 90s kids, you certainly do know, don't you? Saved by the Bell is getting a reboot on Peacock. Yeah, who cares? Who? HBO Max I get. Like, I understand the want to buy HBO Max, because that one seems really interesting, and you get a lot more interesting stuff going on there. Who wants Peacock? NBC should not be in this game. They should be doing something. They should be partnering with a company like an Amazon, with a Netflix, to release their content. Because if there is one that everyone is going to skip, it is the Peacock and it's CBS All Access. Like, those two should be partnering with other stuff. And I know that they are, because CBS has like an exclusive deal with Crave to do all the Star Trek stuff, right? It's weird. Peacock is the weirdest one I think I've seen yet. And it just doesn't seem that interesting. Right? Like are you guys interested in seeing Saved by the Bell on a NBC streaming service? Like, the trailer for Saved by the Bell, it is a reboot. It is about their kids, which, if there is one show from the 90s that I did not need to see about their kids, it's the assholes that were in Saved by the Bell. I haven't watched all Saved by the Bell, I'll tell you guys that right now. Why? I understand the need to do this. This seems right up the alley of a producer saying, here's a property everybody liked from an older time. Let's take those characters and do something new and interesting with it. Let's give them kids. We'll have one of them come back and be a high school teacher. Who cares? This is just so uninteresting and so uninspired. It's not doing anything cool with the characters or the cast. And it's just going to fade into obscurity like Fuller House did. At least Fuller House had some cool moments because we knew what was coming and it understood what it needed to be. This doesn't know what it needs to be. This is trying to be so many things it's not. And it's not interesting. It's Saved by the Bell, right? Who cares anymore? It's not the 90s. It was cool in the 90s, but now it's just annoying. All those millennials, do they really want to watch this? Like, I'm in the generation that's not a Zoomer and not a millennial. I'm like right in the middle, and this is not for me. I don't know if this is for a millennial, but you're not going to get in a new audience to watch Saved by the Bell. Look what you did to Riverdale. You're not doing Riverdale here, is all I'm saying. So if you guys are excited for this, let me know, because I'd love to hear people's thoughts on the Saved by the Bell trailer, what you think about Peacock in general, what you want to see from that service, what you want to see from this TV show. Because for me, it's just so uninteresting and uninspired, and I couldn't give two shits about it because it just doesn't add up to anything that looks remotely interesting or appealing. Which brings us to our last trailer to talk about, and then we got one more piece of news after that. But this trailer, man, the week for trailers, because nothing's really coming out in terms of movies, so we're getting some random stuff. First off, we're talking about Josh Trank's new movie, which right there kind of signals this is going to be a really slow day. Capone. He did an Al Capone movie with Tom Hardy, and any given day I would be excited for this because it's a gangster film. It's an actor I like in Tom Hardy, and I think Josh Trank deserves another chance. This trailer came out. It was brutally boring, brutally uninteresting. It hurt me to watch it because it makes me think, is Tom Hardy a good actor? That's a weird thing to say, but he has given some great performances when he doesn't have to do that much. And then when he's given a lot to do, it's not that interesting. Like, I'd say Mad Max, Peaky Blinders, The Revenant, those are some of his best roles, but when he's starring like in a Venom, it's not that interesting and it's not that good. This trailer looked really bad. It did not sell me on the movie. It did not do anything good to show me what this movie was going to be. His stupid Al Capone voice is going to drive me crazy to the point where I do not want to even see it. And it might be accurate, it might not be. I don't give a shit what it is. It's not interesting. It's not an interesting thing to watch, so I don't care. It was just a basic trailer for a basic guy who wants to make a gangster movie. Nothing inspiring about this. I like Josh Trank as a guy. He's dealt some weird hands in terms of his filmmaking, and he has shown a little bit of disrespect towards some people involved in his career, which hurts me in a way as a guy who wants to make films too, to see I say little, but like a young guy given a chance like that, and then he doesn't do something that's respected or loved, and he lashes out against the people that helped him get where he is. That offends me, and it sucks. And that brings us to our last topic for news, and it's Sam Raimi is directing Doctor Strange 2. We all knew this. Nothing really surprising there, and it's kind of cool. So it's fun, it's interesting, and we are just going to have to live with that and deal with that, and that's what we're going to do. So let us take a break here, and we are going to come back to the main topic. Thus, we are brought to our main topic today, and if you've read the thumbnail, you know what it is. We are talking the Thunderbolts in the MCU. This came to me because I was browsing, like I always do every now and then, the MCU spoilers page on Reddit, just because I like to know what's going on, what people are thinking, what people are saying, what the rumors are, because I'm not a guy who takes things so seriously where I can't be surprised. I hate surprises. And I was reading a post about spoilers for Black Widow, supposed spoilers. So what I'm about to read is from a post about Black Widow. Whether or not this is true or not, I don't know. So take that with a grain of salt too. This is the rumored post-credit scenes for Black Widow, which I don't know. I don't care. I will not credit the Redditor because, first off, I don't give a shit. Second off, I don't know what it is. I just took a screenshot of what it says and who the characters are. They're supposed to be in the Thunderbolts, and I'm just going to briefly talk about what I think about that or what I don't. And it'll be Bip Bop Zoom. We'll be out of here before you know it, guys. So thank you for watching before we even get started. Thunderbolts in the MCU. Here's what this Reddit leak has to say about it. The end credit scene takes place in the modern MCU and has General Ross offering Yelena political asylum by recruiting her into the Thunderbolts initiative. So, if that's how the end credit scene's the first one's gonna take place, or the first part of it's gonna take place, that makes sense for me. We know that Yelena Belova is gonna be in Black Widow. She's obviously gonna survive to the end because we're gonna have to have a Black Widow at some point in the MCU that isn't Scarlett Johansson. And we know that General Ross is also going to be in the movies. So it makes sense to me that this is where you'd go. I know for a fact that there's going to be a Thunderbolts movie. Like, that just makes too much sense not to do the way they've been kind of setting it up. I don't think, and I think I might have said this somewhere else too, I don't think General Ross is going to become the Red Hulk. I think we are going to save that for a different character. And if I had to venture a guess, I'd say Rick Jones. I think Rick Jones would be the character that becomes Red Hulk. That's unrelated to the Thunderbolts initiative here, though, but I could see that happening. First off, yes, Yelena Belova is going to be in the Thunderbolts movie. I've heard rumors she might be in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but that would make sense to me, too, that she shows up in that show. And the Thunderbolt initiative, it's a little on the nose. That's kind of where I kind of go iffy on if this is an actual plot leak or just something stupid they threw in. It's just too much like Avengers Initiative that I think it's stupid. Like, it's like if Thunderbolt Ross comes up, oh, never mind. His name's Thunderbolt Ross. Oh shit! Wow, that threw me off for a sec because I was just like, okay, no, now it makes sense. If he's called Thunderbolt Ross, it makes sense for me. Forget everything I just said about the name Thunderbolt Initiative. It completely makes sense for me now. Okay, that title works. I believe it completely. That is 100% accurate. And the post continues with this. It is mentioned that she will lead Team A. and that to protect each other's privacy that they only use code names. So Yelena chooses the code name the Black Widow. That makes sense to me. I can 100% see that happening. Florence Pugh seems like she could command a room like that. The idea of Team A and Team B opens up for a lot of possibility of inner drama, a lot of tension and conflict between the two teams. I think that's a really cool idea. You're doing something really cool there. I like it. Keep that up. Keep that up. Because that makes sense to me. And if it's the modern day, she'd obviously know that Natasha is dead because she was in Far From Home probably and watched the little school bulletin that Betty Page made. No, Betty Page? Yeah, Betty Page made, or Betty Brandt or whatever. Some stupid kid made a little documentary about all the dead heroes. Here's where I'm kind of intrigued if this would be true or not, and this is where I also kind of drop off with my skepticism. Yelena is walked into a room to meet the other members of her team, which include Songbird, Moonstone, Radioactive Man, Speed Demon, Penance, Beetle, which they say is female, and Whirlwind. First off, let's go through each of those individually, and I'll give you my little thoughts on what I think if those characters would appear in here. First off, Songbird. 100% Songbird will be appearing in the Thunderbolts movie. She is like your staple character. She is the one that is like, not on every incarnation, but when you think of Thunderbolts, you think Songbird and you think Baron Zemo. Like, those are the two big ones that you think of. I could 100% see that happening. She seems like she'd be a good Scarlet Witch type character to have on your team. Maybe she's got some inner demons she's working through. That makes sense. That is a good idea. I love Songbird. I think she's a really interesting character. She is one of the best characters in the best Avengers story of all time, Avengers Forever. So yeah, Songbird is definitely going to be appearing in the Thunderbolts movie. That one makes a lot of sense to me. And so does Moonstone. Moonstone is another one of those classic Thunderbolts characters that I could 100% see being a part of this. 100% think that her and Songbird could spin off into their own movie maybe. And I have nothing against that. Moonstone's a very interesting character that could also set you up to do something with Norman Osborn later down with Dark Avengers. So yeah, I think Moonstone is a likely candidate too. Where I kind of fall off here is a character like Radioactive Man, who is just... he's just stupid. Like, I think if you are going to kill any character on this team, from the ones I listed, because this list seems more realistic than the other one I'm about to mention, you kill off Radioactive Man because nobody's going to miss him. Like, he's not that interesting a character, and he's just your dumb brute who's kind of glowy. And I don't think anyone's going to be like, oh man, Radioactive Man needs to be on the team. Not like Songbird or Moonstone, at least. So I don't really know if it could go either way with a character like Radioactive Man, but personally, I think if he's going to be in it, he's going to die. And that brings us to Speed Demon, which is, I think, a really good choice, especially if we are not having Quicksilver in any of this shit. He's funny, he's a dick, he is clearly going to be your sexual prowess guy, which I like. I think it's a good choice, and it's a very interesting one. But the one I like the most, I think, is Penance. Every good team needs a nihilist. And who's a better nihilist than Penance? He fits that bill pretty well. Very interesting design that could easily translate into a television or movie screen, and I think it'd work really well. Penance is a very interesting character. He adds a little more creativity to a team that's more than just like strong people shooting like energy out of their hands or running fast. He's just kind of weird. But it's also like, would he be Speedball before this? Do you think they would do that? Like, he'd be Speedball before that? I don't know what he'd be. Maybe. Okay. Completely forget about the Speedball character. WandaVision's coming out. What if Penance is Pietro Maximoff and he's Quicksilver? Well, he does something bad. He wants to pay for his penance of letting the world go to shit because he died, and maybe this is what he does. He becomes Penance, and that's how we get Penance into the MCU, because it is Quicksilver. That's how you bring Aaron Taylor-Johnson back into the MCU. And the female Beetle makes sense to me. They've done a lot more with the female Beetle recently than they have with the male one. I'd prefer a version of Mach 1, but that's neither here nor there. Makes sense to me. No complaints. I don't really care. Whirlwind, Yeah, I get it. Interesting power, interesting helmet. Another one like Radioactive Man that seems straight up to die. So I don't care. Works for me. And then this is Team B, this one's very interesting to me if this is true, right? Team B then enters the room and well, this is already spelled wrong. I didn't Team B enters the room and is comprised of Citizen V, aka Helmet Zemo. So he's going to be Citizen V. That's really cool. Batroc the Leaper, Nighthawk, Hyperion, Wonder Man, Grim Reaper, Ghost, and the Shocker. And they're drinking red vials as they enter. I don't know what the red vials are. That could be something to help with their power. Yeah, Citizen V is a great idea and a great way you don't tell anybody that it's Helmet Zemo. That's a great reveal for later, especially if they don't kill him in Falcon and Winter Soldier. That's a great reveal. And I think it's 100% going to happen. I really do. You got Daniel Bruhl. You do something cool with him is all I'm saying. Batroc the Leaper, makes sense. He's not dead. You going to throw him in something like this? Sure. Especially if he's going to be in Falcon and Winter Soldier. That's how we meet Zemo. Makes sense. I'm good with it. Jose St. Pierre, keep doing it. Keep being you. Batroc's a very interesting character that has not gotten a lot of play, so that's kind of fun. Here are the two I don't buy for a damn second. Nighthawk and Hyperion. Two of the Squadron Supreme members. What are they doing on the Thunderbolts? That seems a little stupid. I don't like it. I don't think it's going to happen. I think you could maybe get away with Hyperion over Nighthawk. Nighthawk is a leader type, whereas Hyperion could easily be being mind controlled. It doesn't seem likely to me. This is where I'm like, oh no, that's not going to happen, sweetie. No. Squadron Supreme's easily something you throw into a Guardians movie or another space movie, so I don't think that'll be in Thunderbolts, and that is where I kind of started to give this some discredit because it didn't make a lot of sense for me when it said those two names. But two names I could easily see being thrown in here, aside from those, Grim Reaper and Wonder Man. Like, those two make a lot of sense, actually. Especially if we're not going to do the classic Wonder Man story in something like an Avengers movie. Because if we're not going to do it, give him something good to do in a Thunderbolt movie. Maybe that's the story. They're trying to take something from AIM. They see the psionic power. You get Simon Williams involved. You know he's related to your guy there, Grim Reaper, trying to help him. I think there's a great story in there. And if they're not going to tell it in an Avengers movie, this is your next best thing, if you ask me. Grim Reaper's a great design. I could definitely see him being on this team because I doubt they're going to do Masters of Evil. So this is a great place to put that character. He is, to me, your next best going all around place to place villain, series to series, next to Taskmaster. Those are the two characters I think you could put on any movie or television show and it would make sense. So yeah, throw him in here. Do something cool with Grim Reaper. We could get a cool Wonder Man story. Maybe this is where he sacrifices himself to save his team, to save his brother. Do something pretty cool in there. I think it would work. And then Ghost, yeah. 100% Ghost will be in this movie. They have set her up so much to do something with that character, so absolutely makes complete sense to me. And this is the best place for it, because on the other team, she wouldn't really be good, but I think she'd work on this team. And the Shocker, he's in some more modern Thunderbolts runs. We got Speed Demon and Beetle on here. They're your superior foes. Makes sense to me too. I think that is obviously going to be a really cool place to go. And I could see it 100%. Is it going to be, what's his name? The guy who got the Shocker stuff at the end of Homecoming. Is it going to be him as Shocker? Or are we going to get a different Shocker? I don't know. I'd be okay with either way, but I think that's a really interesting thing to go towards. I don't know if it would work or if it wouldn't work, but I do like it. I think it makes sense. And I say this hesitantly. If you did Thunderbolts right with all of these characters I just listed, you could arguably have a more interesting story than an Avengers movie. And I say that hesitantly, but these characters are unique and they're different and they're flawed in a ways we're not allowed to let the Avengers be. Now, if we are seriously going to let them be anti-heroes, and we know some of them are villains, can we do some unique storytelling with these characters? I think that's a really interesting thing we could go to. The other part of this spoiler, this leak, or this rumor says that Taskmaster will operate as like the field agent, the guy who's in charge of everything next to Ross. And okay, depends where you go with him and Black Widow. Like, I can't really say for certain what I think that character is going to do on a Thunderbolts team. I'd prefer he didn't work with the Thunderbolts because that's dumb. He should be a standalone guy who runs a circus. He should just do his own thing. And I will stand by that, and I will stand by that forever. But I have no complaints against him joining a Thunderbolts team. He's just too much of a powerhouse next to your Grim Reaper or your Baron Zemo type. So I don't know what his role would really be as like the top dog next to Ross. It wouldn't make sense to me. But then again, they could do something completely different with the character, so who am I to complain? I like Thunderbolts. I haven't read a lot of their stuff in recent time. I am definitely going to go back and read the original run from the 90s because I'm excited for that. You can see next to me right here, I have a bunch of these totes. They are full of old comic books, and one of those old comic books is full of Wizard comics, which is really cool. I do like Wizard comics, and I found an issue in here of Wizard comics that is talking about the debut of Thunderbolts. And I think we might come back and talk about that another time, and we'll discuss what I think of the original Thunderbolts run. But this is Thunderbolts in the MCU. First off, it is definitely going to happen. I do think the MCU will go to the route of the Thunderbolts, which will lead into Dark Avengers. Dark Avengers is the next likely spot for those kind of characters. But you're introducing Helena Belova. That is where you go. You already have brought back Zemo, and then you're going to go down there. Look, General Ross has gotten a lot of play in the modern movies, is all I'm going to say with that too. And Ghost. You got Ghost in there in something too. It makes too much sense not to do. Like, if you are introducing all these characters who are known for being on this kind of team, and you don't put them on that kind of team, then you're doing something wrong with your writers. Like, it makes too much sense to go that route. I really do think that. Like, why would you do that, you know? I don't know. I just think if they don't do Thunderbolts, they're missing a big opportunity to do something like Suicide Squad, but do it in a way that's a little more interesting than Suicide Squad was. That being said, I haven't seen the James Gunn one at the time of this recording. It's not even close to being out. But you never know, right? Like, you could easily see Marvel doing Thunderbolts as a direct ripoff or idea of Suicide Squad, and it would make sense too. I don't see Marvel, though, doing that kind of story where it's, you know, we're going to kill you if you don't do this. It's more like, you're here because if you're not, you're going to jail. We're not going to kill you. We're not threatening you. You're doing this because you're changing the public image of superheroes, and that's what I need you to do. And it works. I think it will work really well. I do like a lot of these characters. Like I said, I'm a big fan of Songbird. I really like Songbird. I really like Grim Reaper. I like Taskmaster. Jury's still out on if I'm going to like Helena Belova, but that could go either way for me, and I'm not going to complain if it does. She's an interesting person, and I'm okay with it. So yeah, do you guys put any belief into that rumor I just read to you? Where do you think the Thunderbolts are going to go in the MCU? Do you think those are going to be the characters we see? What characters would you like to see? And, of course, let us just end things. That was stupid. Ready? We're going to rewind, and we're going to do that again. Now is the time of the day where we talk about recommendations. Yes, we went through our main topic. We went through our news. Here are your recommendations for this week in the Geekwave. First off, why don't you guys go watch Saved by the Bell? I don't know where it's streaming, but go find it somewhere and check it out. Maybe you guys will like it, and it'll get you a great opportunity to go see that new show on Peacock. I think you'll like it. It's going to be fun. And of course, we got Josh Trank news today, so go watch Chronicle. Chronicle is a really well-made movie that shows exactly what this director can do and why he got certain jobs that were given to him that other people maybe would not have gotten. I like him. I do like him for some reason. And in comic book news, go pick up Thunderbolts. Yes, go read Thunderbolts like I'm going to do after I record this. I'm going to go pick up some of those old issues. I'm going to go read a Wizard magazine talking about characters that I don't know a lot about. And we're just going to enjoy Thunderbolts for what they are. If you like the MCU, I hope you guys like what Thunderbolts could be in there, because it could be really fun. So thank you guys for watching this rendition of Geekwave. We are going to try to do these every Sunday or Saturday or Monday or Tuesday or Friday or Thursday or Wednesday. One of the days of the week, every week, you'll be getting a Geekwave. It should run for about 30 minutes, and it's going to be really fun. So thank you guys for watching and staying tuned to this channel. Let me know what you guys think about Thunderbolts and all that. You can catch me on Patreon, Instagram, Twitter. All the information will be in the description below. And go check out a lot of shit. So thank you guys for watching. Catch you in the next video. Stay safe out there. Have fun. Good luck. Enjoy the Geekwave.